So maybe initially I just wanted some weight loss, or I just need to feel better. And then over time, those changes may have to do with moving more, or their schedule at work or home has changed dramatically. And so some of the things that you had in place, meal prep's just not going to work, and now we need to look at a meal prep company, or some of those types of things. And if you're not having some of that regular connection on their lifestyle and their goals, you're not able to adjust those goals and adjust those strategies accordingly. And then eventually they're just going to be like, this doesn't work.
Hi, I'm Schutte.
And I'm Dr. Janine Stichter.
Welcome to Becoming the Ultimate Coach with the Jock
And the Doc.
We are here to disrupt some of the current thinking around how the fitness industry approaches clients. Our goal is to educate and inspire fitness professionals to get the results, income, hours, and career that they want and deserve.
Our combined experience in education in psychology and fitness create a new insight on ways to become the ultimate coach.
Welcome to Becoming the Ultimate Coach. I am the Jock. This is the Doc. And the subject today is why you should do an initial consult every month. So we don't really mean an initial consult, but that same premise. Like when a client comes in for the first time, we sit down with them. We go over what are their goals, what's their barriers, and we come up with a plan together of like, how do we accomplish these goals? But so many times, so many people in this industry, that first initial consult is all they do. And then from then on out, let's just do the workout. We'll have a little bit of talks in between sets when you're tired and you're not going to remember anything. But this whole concept of doing this on a regular basis is going to make big changes for your clients. And so Janine, why would this be an issue for people that just do this as initial and stop meeting up after that?
Lots of reasons. So the first way to think about this is that we're all working with clients to help them reach their goals. And to reach your goals, there are a couple of key things, and we've talked about them a little bit before on some of our episodes that we've done on how to actually set a goal and acquire a goal. And so goal theory right away tells us that this isn't going to work, just to do this initial consult and then touch base once in a while on the floor, like you said, when they're out of breath, or they're overwhelmed, or they just showed up and they had a lot going on in their morning and they're just distracted, and they're just focusing on motoric movements, which for some people, unless you've been a trained athlete, can take a little bit more energy, and so they're not processing. So that alone sets them up and you up for diminished returns on information, understanding where they're at. It's a lot easier for me to go with the stuff that you're suggesting because I'm just trying to get through the workout. But that doesn't mean I'm going to execute it, and then we end up with a non-compliant client, right? It's like, why aren't they doing this? But the other thing too is that when we have an initial consult, if I come to you, this is the first time I've met you, I've never been in your gym before, I haven't been doing this probably for a while, which is why I'm coming in, or I haven't been doing it this way, maybe with a personal trainer or this kind of setting, there's going to be a little bit of nervousness, whether it's manifested or not. In other words, whether the person even knows it or can tell. But when we go into a new situation, we're taking in tons of information, right? Is this person nice? Do I feel intimidated with them? Do I feel like I connect with them? Do I like the space? Am I dressed the right way? Is this going to work the way? I'm worried about my workout afterwards. Is it going to be really hard? Am I going to be out of breath? All this stuff. So you asking me questions about like, what's your goal? What are your barriers? What's your background? Like, have you done much of this? The likelihood that I'm going to remember it all, I'm going to be 100% accurate. I'm going to understand everything you said. Think about it like on an average, we probably get about 70% of the information when we're having conversations that's given. You put us in a situation like that, now I'm down to whatever, 40% on a good day. So you as a trainer haven't gotten all the information you need, and you haven't also maybe gotten it as clearly as you need to actually help this person. So by having repeated conversations for a while, once you've built rapport with that person, they're going to be more likely to be more comfortable sharing some things that may be critical for you to understand. Previous eating disorder, challenges with organization and planning, things like that. And also, they're going to have had time to process and think about some of the questions that you asked. And we've all done that, right? You've gone somewhere, someone's asked you a question, and then later on you're like, oh, I forgot to mention this, or oh, why didn't I say that? So a lot of those types of things. So you're setting yourself up and the client up for diminished returns right off the bat by not having that additional information. The second big part of this is strategies and focus need to change. So maybe initially I just wanted some weight loss, or I just need to feel better. And then over time, those changes may have to do with moving more, or their schedule at work or home has changed dramatically. And so some of the things that you had in place, meal prep's just not going to work, and now we need to look at a meal prep company, or some of those types of things. And if you're not having some of that regular connection on their lifestyle and their goals, you're not able to adjust those goals and adjust those strategies accordingly. And then eventually they're just going to be like, this doesn't work. And then they don't come back.
So how this works at my gym is, some people we do it weekly with, like they actually train somewhere else. And so we meet on a weekly basis and go over these different strategies because there's so few coaches out there. Everybody that's a member of our gym, on a monthly basis, we have this time set aside to go over this with them. So what we're not asking for you to do is to sacrifice more of your time to go over this without being compensated for it, because this is something that we charge a premium price for, because this is a service that very few people do it. So we have a couple different names for it, and part of it depends on what the goal is. The majority of the people are looking to lose weight initially, so we call it weight loss behavior coaching. Some people have different goals of like putting on muscle or performance, or there's all these different goals out there. So we just call it lifestyle accountability coaching, because that's what we're doing, is we're looking not just what they're doing in the gym, but what they're doing outside the gym, which is going to impact their overall fitness routine. So really think about how you can fit this into your model, whether this is you already have training clients and you want to meet with them monthly, or it's something that you want to start bringing in other people that really need to focus on this area, and you can meet with them weekly, and both those work really well. And the other big thing too of why we need to do this is, so many times when we're changing habits for people, and this is what Janine has taught my team so much on, they can't be big changes. I can't have someone come in and be like, well, you want to lose weight, you need to eat more, you need to move more. Part of that, you need to do more flexibility, more strength, more cardio, and you have more water and more protein. Like, no one's going to do this like why thing. Like, we need to pick, okay, your focus is getting more strength training in. You're going to train here 2 days a week. Cool, we have that covered. Your other goal is to increase your water intake by 20 ounces because you're only doing 20 ounces right now. And we're going to focus on that. And then we're going to find this replacement for your alcohol in the evening. Instead of having 3 drinks, we're going to drop it down to 2, and then we're going to try some other replacement for that. And we get into replacement behaviors in a previous one. So that right there is already 3 things. That's a big changes. And so we need to meet again to be like, okay, how was that going? Do we need to adjust the plan? And if they did well with that, we might need to add more on top of it so they can continue to reach some of their goals. So it's just there's a lot to unpack with these. So anything else on when I talk about the model of it, on how to use this overall for the clients?
Well, one of the big things that you should think about is doing this is exactly what people need, and is why we see people jump from one diet plan to, or Whole30 to 75 hard to whatever it is, and they jump and they jump and they jump, because as they get into one thing, it may not be individualized sufficiently for them or fit their lifestyle. And nobody is offering that systematic adjustment along the way to let them have those successes, revel in those successes, because we all need positive reinforcement that this is working, and then adding things on systematically. And so it's really, it's a huge gap for people, and you have this opportunity to offer that to them in a systematic, safe, just not overwhelming way. And then by those regular touches, you're letting them know, like, yep, this is working. Oh, you're having struggle with this? Well, what about this kind of water bottle? Or what about carrying it with you all the time? Or what about a sticky note here? And so you're really able to create that customization and that individualization. And one of the things that goes so well at the gym is these aren't hour-long conversations, because that's the other thing that worries people. It's like, I don't want to be talking about this stuff for an hour, right? They're 15-minute conversations. Because you're doing things systematically and in those small doable chunks, you don't have to talk about it for an hour. Here's a couple small things. How's that going? Here's some tweaks. Here's some reinforcement. And one of the reasons that we use that word accountability sometimes is it allows somebody to know, like, oh, I'm going to see Scott next Wednesday. Have I been doing these things? And it helps just have that accountability and that support and that encouragement, so that when I see him, I can really talk about how well I've done.
The other side of this too is there will be some clients that aren't interested in this. Like, I've been training for almost 17 years now, and at the beginning of the year is a good time to really kind of establish this of like, all right, what are we working on? What are our goals? And I had several people that are like, I'm just happy to be showing up 2 times a week. and I did it all last year, and my goal is to do it all this year. And so they don't really want to dig into that, which is perfectly fine. But those clients that are kind of frustrated without seeing the changes, they definitely need this. The people that are brand new, that are trying to figure out new habits, so that you're on the same page, like they definitely need this. Because it's so important that we spend a lot of time unpacking like what people really want. I had a 18-year-old kid just start, and he was there with his dad, and I was like, okay, his dad told me what he wanted the kid to accomplish. I was like talking to the kid, and I was like, well, what do you want to accomplish? He's like, well, I want to be fit. I was like, awesome. What does that mean to you? And he's like, I have no idea. And so it's just this fun game of like, now, I've talked to him a couple times after that of like trying to define that, because people want to have value out of spending their time and spend their money to come and see you, and you have to provide that value. But if they don't really know what they want, you need to help them kind of define that so that you can be on the same page. And that's what a lot of this too is, making sure that they're on the same page. So just to recap what we've gone over today, find a way to add this extra service, whether it's part of the package, and you got to match this up with what you're already doing. So if someone's paying a monthly there, like we have that added on there, so it's just part of their monthly fee. If some people that are not training at our facility and they just come in just to do this, like it's just your per session. So it's kind of match up a little bit of like how you're already charging, but find a way to make this a part of your business model, and find a way to talk to your clients about adding this in, because if you have the time and space to really break this down, set those habits, and then meet regularly to make those minor adjustments, the results are going to be better. And of course, you get better results, the retention's going to be better. You're also going to have more referrals to you, and overall business is much better. So, until next time.